Hi, welcome. I'm CA Neeraj Mittal from G-Inditure Consulting, India. Today, we are diving into a very pressing issue faced by mid-sized banks and organizations which are looking for ESG compliance. That is, the ESG blind spots. You see, what you cannot see or what you cannot measure, simply you can't manage it. So ESG is just not about compliance anymore. It is a lever for growth, for trust, and for future developments. Let's explore three critical blinding spots, the major challenges faced in ESG compliance, and check whether these are holding back your banks as well. Let's dive into the three blind spots. The first major gap is the ownership. ESG often lives and works in silos. People think that it's just the responsibility of the compliance team. However, ESG is not something which is hitting the compliance team only. It's something which goes across the organization. And of course, without the alignment of the C-suite or the top executives, it just remains a checkbox exercise. Without clear executive ownership, ESG efforts don't flow into everyday operations and its impact is minimal. ESG needs to become a strategic priority, not an operational afterthought. It has to be supported by the top management and should flow down the line till the grassroots level so that everybody is involved. ESG is not something to be worked in silos. It is something which will have an effect throughout the organization. Everybody has to be involved and people have to take up the ownership. So this we find as the first biggest blind spot. That is taking ESG in silos and not being executive aligned. The second biggest blind spot which we see is the unstructured data. ESG's data is often fragmented, spread across departments, stored in Excel sheets, lacks standardization. At a couple of places, there are not even mechanisms to capture the data. For example, how much carbon dioxide CO2 is emitted through a certain process. You might be needing IoTs or instruments to measure the quantum of output. So there is unstructured data. In fact, there is no real visibility or no single version of truth. And of course, without structured data model, how can you drive information decisions or meet investors' expectation? This is a ticking bomb for reporting and for reputation. So you have the second most important thing is you have to figure out that what are the data required and where can we this structured data be made available? How would we capture and structure this unstructured data into a standard version so that we have a single source of truth? The third, and perhaps the most important and most outlook blind spot, is the lack of profitability lens. Most banks still treat ESG just as a cost center, not as a value driver, but where ESG is embedded into fund transfer pricing, net interest income module, or ALM strategies. These all places get affected by ESG. So without these linkages, investors' confidence remains weak and banks will miss out on green financing and margin uplifts. So the most important thing right now is to understand that ESG impacts most of the part of your banking and is deeply rooted into your profitability analysis. So here is one question every bank leader must ask. What benefits are we unlocking from ESG? Should ESG not be a defensive strategy? It's a competitive one, my friend. Are you using it to drive sustainable growth, tap into green funds, and increase stakeholders' confidence? If not, you are leaving serious value on the table. So ask yourself, are we getting the best benefits and are we leveraging ESG? So if this resonates with you, I invite you to book a free 30 minutes discussion with me. We'll explore how your bank can identify ESG blind spots, uncover financial leakage, and convert ESG from a compliance headache into a margin booster. Just scan the QR code or connect via email or WhatsApp. Let's make ESG your growth lever, not a checkbox. Don't wait, connect with us.